Hey everyone, I'm Rather Incoherent, and this is the second scenario of Forgotten Age, the Doom of Eztli. Before we get into this, let's talk about the deck upgrades I've made along the way. Now, I should have called this before I started the campaign, but it slipped by me. I'm upgrading Dream Diary Occult Lexicon as my first upgrade. I've got more experience in that, so I'm getting Unreal things as well. And at that point, I'm really just saving up my experience for some big, meaningful upgrades, Cryptic Research, and Ready Love Man and Charisma. Those are the big things on the horizon for Amanda. But since my immediate priority in this campaign is get Dream Diary, get Occult Lexicon, and these are incredibly core cards to Amanda, and I wanted expendable allies in Scenario 1, and Mandy can double scry effects, I have no idea, like even without Mandy being there, I have no idea why I didn't put Research Librarian in the original deck. I cut Wood and Green, because she's just not really going off, and I don't think I need her based on my performance last scenario. But if Research Librarian had been in the deck instead, it wouldn't have been the card I cut. One of the big things I learned in Scenario 1 is that Amanda does surprisingly well with very minimal book boost. I still would like to have those, but it's not a huge deal if I don't. And it's a good thing she does well with minimal book boost, because as you can see, if I'm forced to play this Occult Lexicon, we don't have any book boosts. That's fine though, we have Mandy to crack the high shroud locations, and Amanda can still do pretty disgusting work, especially later once we get the Red Gloved Man. For the Mandy deck upgrade, it is what it is, you know? I bought the 3 most broken cards in the game. I bought Mr. Rook, I bought the Segment of Onyx, I bought the Occult Lexicon level 3. If you aren't a fan of like power game optimization focused gameplay, this campaign might already have crossed the line for you with this Mandy upgrade. I tried to have my X-only challenge runs be representative of the class. It's why I got Jacqueline in my Mystics only run alongside of a jankier Mystic, because there are a lot of very standard Mystics and a couple of janky ones, and that sort of shows you the full spectrum. In Rogues, I feel like a good representation of the class is actually just to go big money only. Unfortunately, for most Rogues, big money is the best thing they can do, so I wanted to show that off and why I believe that way. It's sort of me trying to prove my point about how I feel about Rogues. And when it comes to Seekers, if I'm trying to give an accurate representation of the class, then yeah, this is a part of that. It's going to be an absolutely disgusting game. You're going to need to take a shower after every upgrade phase. That's just how it is. It's going to be filthy. Quick reminder, we got all 10 experience last scenario, 2 more on Mandy from the binoculars, and we're banking 2 of it on Amanda. I'm saving up for Charisma at the very least, and probably directly into Cryptic Writings and Ready Love Man after that. These upgraded Occult Lexicons are going to do a huge amount of work in terms of keeping us alive, though. And this upgraded Dream Diary is going to do a huge amount of work in terms of making Amanda Sharp a good, usable character. Really regretting not running Research Librarian right now, though. One more big mistake I made. I had almost convinced myself to not buy food. I don't know how I convinced myself to buy 2 medicines in Area 1. I guess I was really worried that if my characters got poisoned, they would start racking up trauma too fast from the poison and the lack of blankets. And as Seeker only, I could just die to damage really easily at that point. But with 4 Promise of Powers and a load of allies in these decks, I should not have been expecting both characters to get poisoned. I should have only got 1 medicine, so I could have afforded a chalk. You'll see why later in the scenario when I get a vengeance for not having chalk. Before I start the scenario, there's one thing I want to talk about. I did a test campaign. I just went through the first 2 scenarios with Seekers to see if it was like variance how it was going, if the idea even worked, or if I had to bring a dedicated fighter or dodger like Joe or Ursula. And one of the things I found is possibly the funniest thing I've ever seen added in Return to locations. It's the damn snake pit. The snake pit is this location. This location is filled with snakes. So I don't want to explore from any of these locations if I don't have binoculars, because then you'll end up in a pit of snakes. That is like an incredibly important amount of meta knowledge. There's a very high chance that if I hadn't done that test game, this is just 3 vengeance. Like I can't evade all 3 snakes. You just go in there and you take 3 vengeance when you kill them. And to some degree, I'm sad that I know about that. It would have been a really great moment to capture on video the first time I read that card. But unfortunately, it's not to be. As always, we've already done the setup. The encounter card for this is not that at all. -1 for skulls, -3 if your location has doom. Our tablets or cultists, I believe we have cultists right now, are going to be -X, which is the number of locations with doom on them. And Squid is reveal another chaos token. If you fail, place 1 doom on your location. Our opening agenda is Agenda 1A, Something Stirs. Despite Ichitaka's warnings, you've entered the ruins of the temple in search of ancient knowledge and artifacts. This agenda gets +1 Investigator's Doom, so it goes up to 8. Enforced, do not remove Doom from each location in play when the agenda advances. So we really want to try to avoid Doom going onto locations as best we can. We really want to be up as much as we can on every skill test. And if I'm remembering correctly, this scenario is going to be a stomp because, yeah, the squid on hard mode is reveal another chaos token, just place 1 Doom on your location flat out. And I remember just crushing the scenario because the Doom clock felt like it was very clearly balanced around people on hard mode just randomly getting lots of squids and having no say in the matter. I'm sort of expecting the same thing to happen again. Act 1A, Into the Ruins. After your hellish journey through the jungle, the quiet saw through the temple ruins sows paranoia in your mind. Serpent eyes glare at you from the darkness. Every drop of water and fallen pebble causes you to whirl about in search of danger. But the real danger is yet to come. As an ability we can explore from the axe deck, it is the standard exploration rules from the Return to set, and we need 6 clues to advance. So let's get into it. Let's shuffle our decks and see what we have to deal with. This has went so incredibly well that I'm going to leave this part in the video and restart the scenario because I don't think this is indicative of what should have happened. To quickly recap, it's the second turn. And like the part that's really upsetting is I've drawn 6 experience and 7 experience of cards that immediately went into play on turn 1 in the second scenario. And it's just like, sure, my Mr. Rook got canceled and I'm entombed on Mandy right now. But I've got Unrelenting on Amanda. I've got 2 Crack the Cases and a Promise of Power. And all my Blood Rights are still in play after this. This version of the scenario would have been a walkover. So I'm going to go ahead and just restart real quick and try to have one that's more interesting and more indicative of what should normally happen. Because this is gross even for me. Like, I honestly cannot stack the deck better than this. I can. That Entombed was actually the first Mental Serpent, and I evaded him or something. That would be better stacking the deck, and that's kind of the only way I could have improved my RNG. It's been gross. It's been real gross. Alright, so coming back to the start of this, let's try again and see if we can get something more indicative of what a normal scenario might look like. Right now, it's not so much looking that way. It's looking like things are still going to go really, really well. Whispers in the Deep would obviously be bad, but that doesn't count. This is looking like a pretty sick hand so far. I think we might just be taking a steamroll through this scenario. So far, it's not doing much to oppose us. We're going to toss everything except for Practice Makes Perfect and Magnifying Glass. Milan isn't Mr. Rook, but he's something. Although it does get real awkward real fast if I draw Mr. Rook shortly thereafter. I'm going to go first on Amanda. If she hits a Deep Knowledge off this Lab Assistant, then that could be really helpful for getting Mandy to have, you know, specifically Mr. Rook. Unfortunately, I don't have a card I want to put under Amanda. These are all cards I would really like to hold. I guess I can investigate this location with a deduction, and it's a waste of a deduction, really. Because it's not victory, I won't need these clues in the end, but it's still something. So we're going to put a deduction under me and be sad about it, which is a weird thing to have happen. I'm going to play this Lab Assistant, draw 2 cards. Cryptic Writings triggers, I get the money. I play this Dream Diary for 2. Play this Magnifying Glass for 1. And then we're going to investigate at only 4-2. This is very failable. Coming over to the scenario card, we can see that actually it's really just -3, -5 autofill that does it, but that's still plenty. It doesn't stop us though. Deduction will take the second clue. And Amanda's just a weird like this. Like, it feels like Amanda should be slow and inefficient. And I know I'm investigating it for, like, it's not actually good. But I just regularly find myself surprised by how much Amanda's actually doing. Anyway, she wasn't able to help Mandy avoid playing Milan. It's a weird world to be in where I'm trying to avoid playing Milan, but that is what's happening. To quickly recap how this scenario works in terms of notable locations, I actually really dislike some of the things in it. Snake Pit here is a disproportionately more important punishing location than anything else, and all the victory is on the right side of the scenario. It's just so weird to me that it's laid out that way. It doesn't seem... I'm pretty sure it's specifically these two. Like, if you ask me what are the 2 victory locations on the map, I would guess it was this row. And obviously the objective as well, but it's so weird to me that it's like the front part, or the top part rather, of the right column. Anyway, we're going to hope we go right or down middle, and we're going to explore. We're looking for star, diamond, red square. Still no. Alright, so we're down to just the 3 it could have been. Star. That's actually perfect. Shuffle in an encounter card. The Brand Chamber, rearranged by time, is our current location. It's a 2-shroud, 2-clue location, and it's Vengeance 1, but as an action you can check your supplies. If you've got the map and all the clues from this location, then you remember that it loses Vengeance 1 and gains Victory 1. And at this point there's really no merit to looking for Mr. Rook, and just to play the Milan and be sad about it, which is a good spot to live in. And then as our last action, we're going to investigate at 7-2, which is a good place to be in. I'll take my money from Milan and one of the clues. That's it for us. No enemies, so we go right into the upkeep phase. Not the card we wanted to draw on Mandy. And we want to actually hit the upkeep button. Occult Lexicon's going to get played eventually, but I'd like to try to hold on to this magnifying glass for as long as I can. Top of the round, Mythos phase, 1 of, I believe it's 8 Doom? 8 Doom. Deep Dark, we can only get 1 clue from each location this round. That's not a big deal though, because there's only 1 clue on the 1 location we have. That's actually a pretty soft Deep Dark. Creeping Poison does nothing, no one's poisoned. Alright, the second Deep Dark could be a problem next round, we'll see how that goes. Kinda funny. Start of the investigation phase, we do the Amanda thing. I'm just putting Prophesy under me because I don't care what's under me this round, I think. I'm probably going to move down on Amanda and investigate with this Prophesy and just use Practice Makes Perfect with Mandy's ability, looking for things like Unrelenting Perception. That seems really good. So we're going to put this Prophesy down, we're going to move down and investigate. We're going to spend this resource playing Practice Makes Perfect. Mandy's going to tap her ability to double hit. And we're going to see Perception. Wow, single hit? Really? This feels pretty bad. Alright, fine, I get just the Perception. We're still investigating at 6-2 and drawing a card if we pass. Alright, cool, fine. That was a bit below average. I think at this point I'm just going to draw a card. Mandy can get the clue, it's not important. And I'd rather get more resources. Things are going a little bit less than ideal for Amanda's hand. For Mandy, I'm going to investigate, again, 7-2. -5 is still a pass. Mandy has 5 in book, because why would she ever have any downsides? I'll take the resource off Milan, and then I'll explore. Okay, I'm going to take a moment to talk about the actual math here. When you look at the explore thing, it can be really hard to evaluate the odds. This diamond and this plus are the only thing that I can actually go to if I explore, and there's only 1 encounter card in the deck right now. Which means that I have a 2/3 chance of hitting a location, a 1/3 chance of hitting an encounter card, and that 1/3 chance to hit an encounter card is actually kind of spooky right now. And our hands are pretty weak, so I think I'm actually going to just draw cards right now. It's really slow, but I can't even get through the next location anyway, so there's no reason to expose myself to the danger. If I'd looked at what I'd drawn, I'd probably have played the Deep Knowledge rather than drawing again, but oh well, here we are. Anyway, that's it for us. No enemies, so upkeep phase. We're going to get Segment of Onyx, isn't doing anything just yet, nor is I've Got a Plan. 2 of 8 Doom, and evil cards. Oh, hello. You are a big beefy boy. 1 foot is not a lot, though. Nearest location with at least 1 clue, huh? Well, yeah, if an enemy has no legal location to spawn at, for example, if its spawn instruction directs it to a specific location that is not in play, or if no location in play satisfies its spawn instruction, it does not spawn and is discarded instead. There is no location with at least 1 clue, so he fizzles and dies. That was intuitively what I thought should happen, but I've never seen that happen to not an Acolyte before in my life, so I thought I must be doing something wrong. Anyway, Mandy thinks she's a snake. She has 1 less health and 1 less fist. That brings us to the investigation phase. We need to do the Amanda thing. God, it's just rough. I throw I've Got a Plan under me. It's my least valuable card. I'm going to go first on Mandy. I'm going to play Deep Knowledge onto Amanda. Oh, Amanda should totally have this Essence of Dream in her hand. I've been forgetting to do that, but I also haven't had a reason I would have played it yet anyway, so I guess it's fine. And I think it is Deep Knowledge Amanda, because if I can hit a draw card onto her, she's just suddenly so much better off. Alright, she has her own Deep Knowledge now. Let's not forget to add our curse tokens to the bag. I'll take 2 for me. Cool, Astounding Revelation, right on time. I'm going to explore. Let's see how those odds go for us. I immediately get the Vengeful Serpent. Cool. Unfortunately, because it is specifically an enemy, I kind of just end my turn now. I can try to evade him. Getting curses out of the bag isn't too bad. Alright, sure. Not that it mattered, but sure. I'm going to toss this Magnifying Glass to play Occult Lexicon. Oh god, I'm broke, aren't I? It still works, I'm just not happy about it. I get 1 blood right, shuffle the other 2 into my deck. Killing the Vengeful Serpent is just trash anyway, though. And as a consequence, I think I'm just going to let Mandy take this hit. It's a little bit sketchy, I'm not a fan of it, but I think it's the right play. So I'm just going to explore on Amanda. Sorry about that, Mandy. That is not plus or diamond, that's diamond. That's not the one we wanted, unfortunately for us. Shuffle in a new card. Amanda gets moved into the Sealed Passage. Action, check your supplies. You have the Key of Eztli. This might not be for this time through the scenario. This might matter more in the future. Anyway, the Sealed Passage is sealed. There's nothing to do here. Can't imagine how that could ever be relevant. And we don't want to go left. We want to go right. So I'm just going to walk back as my last action. Deep Dark is going to fall off this round. Enemy Phase, we're going to get hit for 1/1 over here. I'll give the Horde a Milan. Upkeep Phase. Cult Lexicon's good to see. So is that 3 of 8 Doom, evil cards. Crypt Chill, you say? Do I care about this Lab Assistant? I mean, really? I've got another one. I don't have Charismas yet. Yeah, like, I'm not a fan of getting Crypt Shield, but it's fine. It can just happen to me. Glad I didn't commit then. Cool. Sorry, Lab Assistant, you were always dying. Over here, we have Fatal Mistake, or Final Mistake, rather. Test 2. There's no Doom on my location, so it's just 2 foot, take 2 damage if I fail. That's actually pretty damn scary with my current health. If I let that hit me a couple of times, I'll probably just die. Can Amanda commit anything less? Yes, she can. She commits Essence of the Dream, which unfortunately only gives us +2 question marks, but still puts us at +3. And I'll commit the Occult Evidence as well to be at +4. 0, get it out of here, no penalty. That brings us back to our turn. We can finally get moving. But before we can do that, we have to go into the Investigator phase and to do Amanda's thing. Sad I haven't been able to get the Stream Enhancing Serum in play, but I am kind of broke. I might just be doing Deduction, Explore. It's a 50% chance of failing the Explore, actually. That's fine. I'm still putting Deduction under me. I'm going to go first on Mandy. I'm going to attempt to evade this man. I'm up 1. I would like to be up much more than that. I commit Promise of Power. We're up to 2 curses in the bag only. I thought it'd be worse than that, but I guess not. Skull is minus Doom, which is not anything meaningful. We evade the Vengeful Serpent without actually putting him in the victory display. Next action, we're going to explore. We're looking for specifically the plus or the treachery. This probably should have been in the pile, but it wasn't a relevant card anyway. Cool, that's what we wanted to say. Add an encounter card. Oh, I'm supposed to use an action here before I leave. Do you have the map, Mandy? No, Mandy does not have the map, it's fine. Okay, so Mandy gets booted down to the throne room. It's a 5-shroud, 2-clue location. While it has Doom on it, it's considered to be in the victory display for the purposes of counting Vengeance. There are no clues here. Record Mysterious Scepter in your supplies. Vengeance 1, Victory 1. I'm not too concerned with keeping my Vengeance super low. I want to say that we already did that our first time through the campaign and somehow finished it with a very low number. That somehow it's probably called Wendy Adams and Winifred. But, I'm definitely going to be going up to, like, 7 Vengeance this scenario because of Victory plus Vengeance on the same card and not having chalk. So we'll see what the ramifications of mediocre Vengeance are in this campaign. It's sort of unavoidable at the moment. Anyway, I'm going to investigate and use Practice Makes Perfect. Wait, do I actually want to do that since there are only 2 clues here and Amanda shouldn't be exploring from this location? That would have been a good plan, but because of the situation I find myself in, it is not. I'm just going to preemptively play my Occult Lexicon for safety instead of doing that. That's much better. Next up, Amanda gets into her first action moving down. Probably should have just shortcutted Amanda in. I guess she doesn't have anything else she really needs to be doing. Have both of us drawn literally no economy cards. I guess Milan counts as an economy card, can't pretend he doesn't. But yeah, basically no economy has been hit. I'm going to investigate. I am going to play Practice Makes Perfect on Mandy and try to commit something to this. I'm hoping to hit, you know, not Shocking Discovery, but I was going to say things like Perception, Promise of Power, and Astounding Revelation. Anyway, instead, I don't think I paid for that. I will draw an encounter card. 7 Shroud, huh? Well, we're still investigating. We're currently... I should have gotten this at the start of the round, right? Investigator phase. When your turn begins, reaction. So yes, she should have gotten this back when her turn started, which is going to be very relevant because I want to commit it immediately. We're currently looking at 3, 4, 5. Let's try that Practice Makes Perfect again. You know, after we actually draw our encounter card. Discard the top 5 cards of your deck and see if you get more penalties than that. I didn't shuffle it after doing that. Okay, this has been hits. That doesn't do anything. That doesn't do anything. That doesn't do anything. That doesn't do anything. So what's the penalty? Either discard it from hand or lose 1 action. That's an easy choice for me. And then we'll discard this, and we'll try again. I play practice makes perfect. I search the top 9. This time it's a single hit. And my only hits are Deduction and Raptured. We're currently looking at a 2, 3, 4, 5 to 7 test. I'm not feeling confidence in this. I commit Enraptured instead of the Deduction. I don't think I'll be getting this skill test back. I commit Promise of Power and immediately regret my decision making. I had to curse the bag. Star anyway. That is a pass. It doesn't matter at all, but it is a pass. I'll take both clues. Mandy gets her Enraptured. This goes away. This gets set aside. Obscuring Fog gets broken. And last, I'm going to play this Deep Knowledge. I really want to get to a higher hand size to trigger all the stuff here. I would like for Mandy to have more cards than this. She's sort of running on fumes over here. But she can just play a Blood Right for draw to refill. Whereas I want this online right now. Which means I have to draw at least 2 cards. And if I hit a weakness, then I would need another card. So I want to draw the 3rd one. Which is stupid of me, because having done this now, I realize I have to discard a card. Because now I'm going up to 9 cards. There's no way to apply this shortcut meaningfully right now either. So, oh well, you make mistakes sometimes. Enemy phase, he's evaded. Upkeep phase, he readies. We take our upkeeps. We're going to have to discard something on Amanda, which is very unfortunate. My leg broke. I say it's very unfortunate. What I should have said is, I did this to myself and don't deserve any pity. Anyway, shortcut will be helpful later on, but not right now. So I'm just going to toss the shortcut. I'm not happy about that decision. I feel like there might be a better decision, but I don't know what that is, so I'm going to move on with my life. Top of the round, Mythos phase, 4 of 8 Doom. I said 4 of 8 Doom, and evil cards. The Brood of Yig is here. There's no vengeance on the display. Not that we're going to be punching him anyway. I mean, we might be punching him. Amanda did some decent punching last time. Over here for Mandy, final mistake again. Again, I really don't want to take that damage. This time I don't feel like I had an alternative, because this is currently out of play. I can prophesy for 2 question marks right now. I was planning on putting that under me. I can just evade the Brood of Yig. At some point, I'm leaving a wall of snakes behind me that I can't get through, though. No, I can get through them. Pendant of the Queen is stupid. I'm fine. If I were to commit this Prophesy, I'd have to use my Obscure Studies beneath me, so I'll just commit the Obscure Studies instead for 3 and be up 4. Skull is -1, no penalty, easy game. That brings us to the investigation phase. We are going to get a card on Amanda and see what's going under her. I didn't consider that I could just draw an irrelevant card and slap that under me. I do want to evade this man, though, so Prophecy it is. Or Prophesy, rather. We'll also get this when our turn starts, which it will do later, because Mandy needs to go first. As Mandy, I'm going to go first, and I'm going to explore. We're looking for Heart, T, and a Triangle. I'm Entombed. That's not what I wanted to say. I cannot disengage from enemies or move. Test 4 foot or 4 fist to break out. If you succeed, discard Entombed. If you fail, reduce the difficulty of this test by 1 until the end of the round. Entombed is a little bit gross right now. Not a fan. I can just break out and explore again. I can just brute force it with the foot check and Promise of Power to be up 3. If I fail, things get messy, but I mean, that's just how it be sometimes. So I'm going to add a curse to the bag. That's a lot of curses. We're still in it, though. Entombed is gone. And Mandy is going to attempt to explore as her last action. We're looking for Heart, Triangle, T. Man. There were more encounter cards than I thought there were in there. I thought that there were 5 locations left. I'm just wrong about that. Yeah, I was counting the final location, which isn't there yet. Whoops. Well, it's looking like we might be killing these snakes now. I had intended to not kill these snakes and just evade this one and let this one catch up and have 2 snakes at this location, but this is a little bit too much snake. First action, I play Blood Right for 3, draw 3 cards, gain 2 resources. Discard I've Got a Plan. Discard Dream Enhancing Serum. I need to discard 1 more and all of them suck. Cracked Case is the only one that's not helping right now. That kills Mandy's Brood of Yig. She can't afford to be taking damage. I have to spend 3 resources, of course, rather. I think subconsciously I know what's about to happen. We're evading. I don't. Someday we'll find this. Now, unfortunately, Mandy can't possibly get to a new location. We can't do the run from snakes plan we previously had. But I can briefly wonder why I didn't commit this Essence of the Dream, but it's for a Mythos phase test. I could just try to handle this now, but like 5 Shroud's got to be the worst location in the game to do that at. Did I forget to use the ability here? I have no recollection of using the ability here. What I have a recollection of is saying that I'm going to do that and then never doing it. Just gonna leave this here as a reminder for myself that we might want to do that on our way out of the temple. And last action, I'm gonna play this lab assistant, because I think we're gonna be putting Essence of the Dream under us, evading a lot of enemies, and booking it out of here. So yeah, I'm gonna play lab assistant, draw 2 cards. That'll be our turn. Enemy phase, he comes in, hits for 1/1 against Mandy or Amanda. That's never gonna stop happening. I really should not have played these characters together. Upkeep phase, she's gonna get the other one. We're going to get Dream Enhancing Serum, Scroll of Secrets, and go to the top of the round, the Mythos phase. We're getting sort of a pile-up of snakes here, and I have a sneaking suspicion it's not about to stop. Oh. Yeah, well, that's what I get for making calls. Ill Omen, huh? Yeah, that is what I just did, isn't it? Okay, everyone take 1 horror. Also, there's a Doom on our location. Which is slight bad news, because that now means the skull is much worse. And also, we need to get this ticker in here. There is 1 Doom on locations. Let's not forget that. So, that is a large quantity of snake. Like, 10 health of snake is more than I'm currently equipped to deal with. And there is no vengeance right now. So if I were to evade this man, I can evade, magically pass all 3 of them. Then have Mandy explore into a new location, come back, shortcut Amanda out, and then leave. Probably not the right play. I mean, we physically don't have the money to solve this. Like, we just physically cannot pay the resources to kill this much snake. Also, unrelenting, bottom 7. Feels bad. Anyway, start of the round, we're starting the investigation phase, rather. We're going to do the Amanda thing. Pretty sure it's got to be Essence of the Dream this time. Not a whole lot of competition there. I would like to have a 6 across my stat line. Do our best Red Glove Man impersonation. And we're just going to be evading this down the line. I could do a Blood Right. If I did that, I wouldn't be able to evade all of them, but I could kill this one. He's the one that comes back. It's not even helpful. He's the reason we're trying to evade. We're evading down the line at +3, +4 with 6 curses in the bag. Is that the plan? Sounds like a bad plan, doesn't it? The problem is that, like, we just have to deal with this. We don't have an alternative. Also, both Rook's bottom half feels much worse than anything involving Unrelenting. We're evading down the line. First evade, left to right. I guess I'll evade Vengeful Serpent before Brood of Yig, so we're still evading down the line. Just reorder that line real quick. Skull is a -3. We are just barely there because our hand size is big enough. Vengeful Serpent. Get out of here. No one cares. Just barely good enough. Brood of Yig. Are you stuck? How did that... I don't mind exceeding all 3. That's pretty lucky. But I would have liked to see 3 different tokens. At least 2, baby. That was a bit weird. Okay, Mandy can actually fix this. There is a small issue. If I see the snake pit, I think that basically fucks us, and I have no solution. So we do need to still dodge a 1 and 3 for this plan to do anything. We can look for snake pit first, though. We're looking for, again, heart T star. Hearts. We're going left, it turns out. Mandy has found the Mosaic Chamber. It's a 3-shroud 2 location. If you've got a canteen, we don't. We would be able to remove a Doom, though. Mandy can't fucking move more than once in a turn. It might still work. I didn't move just now. I explored. Legally different terminology. I move back in. This is potentially very bad, but, like, at this point, if somebody's going to solo the rest of the scenario, I feel like Mandy is not the one to do it. She does have the Pendant of the Queen, which is kind of important, but she has nothing else going for her. And I explore. We're looking for T and Triangle. And by T and Triangle, I mean specifically Triangle, because this is the fucking snake pit. That one is the only irrelevant card. Creeping Poison, Surge. Oof. It is the Deep Dark. Stop making progress. We weren't able to move back to the Mosaic Chamber because of a broken leg. We used our move coming back, so we had to explore to get out. So ultimately, this plan almost never works. If I had thought it all the way through before I started, I would have done something different. Let's just call it a misplay and move on with our lives. Upkeep phase, Mandy has all the friends in the world. Thankfully, they were exhausted. That Pendant and the Queen is almost online, which is the worst type of online. 7 of 8 Doom, and evil cards. Awesome. We just went from being in a bad spot to probably fucked. Entombed here is not the card you wanted to see. Both Entombed have been maximum impact. The good news is, since we never killed any Vengeful Serpents, he doesn't spawn any more Vengeful Serpents. The bad news is we've never killed a snake in our life, and there's kind of a lot of snakes right now. Start of the Investigator phase. We do the Mandy thing, or the Amanda thing, rather. Cool. Can Mandy kill enough snakes to live? Let's see how it goes. I play Blood Right. That's happening. We're doing it for the full 3. 1, 2, 3. We discard this. We discard the Scroll of Secrets. We discard the Enraptured. I deal 1 damage to this man and kill the other one. He has Vengeance. Put him over here. How many encounter cards are left? 14? Really hoping this agenda shuffles the deck. I honestly have no idea. Anyway, we're playing the next Blood Right. Let's not forget that I spent 3 resources. It's kind of important. 1, 2, 3. Hey, Mr. Rook, right on time. This Dream Enhancing Serum will never be played, so that can easily be the 1 resource we're spending to kill this Serpent. Actually, I'm going to start putting Vengeance cards just like right here in this threat area, so they're visually distinct, because a lot of the times there will be things like this that have immediate impacts. Don't want them clogging up with the victory cards as well. Now, there's physically no way for me to do anything useful with my last action. I can try to evade the Brood of Yig. That's probably just pulling curses out of the bag, but there are no penalty tokens, I believe. There are not. Alright, cool. Curse is still in the bag. Nothing has changed. Amanda cannot explore us out of here, unfortunately. Not that she's ever getting in this location anyway. But, like, I would want Amanda to, like, come in and shortcut Mandy out and then leave, I guess. Can I do that? We might be able to get away from this Brood of Yig. If I can break out, move in, shortcut Amanda out. I've been thinking on it more. Black Injury probably doesn't work with Explore the way I just used it. Considering it has not been a good decision that I've done the things I have, I'm not too beat up about getting the rules wrong, because it's probably only made life harder for me. Also, this Deep Dark should have fallen off at some point. We just haven't been getting clues for a while, so I forgot about it. I could, like, commit Perception, Unrelenting, get bad tokens, and crack the case for 3 to get money. So the best thing I can do is to try to get this location. I'm going to commit Unrelenting and Perception, seal the bad tokens. I guess just the -2 then. We're currently at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 to 3. Not the best odds because of all of these curses. I was bound to catch up with this eventually. I'm not too beat up about that, because even though I was trying to crack the case to get the money to kill them, if I can't do that because of the curses, then I'm still going to need to use the backup plan and evade them where getting the curses out is helpful. I'm going to attempt to break out. I'm testing at a 1 to 4. It's not going to go well. I guess I'm testing foot. I wish I had done things the other way, but now it's down to 3 difficulty. I play Practice Makes Perfect, and I use it to pull specifically Promise of Power. We got a curse the bag. We attempt to break out at 5 to 3. Easy game. This is gone. I shortcut into the location with Mandy. I think it would be fair to say that we've been in a bit of a pickle for a while, but I think that gets us through it. I think we're okay from here on out. Let's see how true that is. Enemy phase, Milan is dead. We're also going to take 1 horror on top of that. Upkeep phase, this Brood of Yig is going to spawn and engage. Do I want it on Amanda or Mandy? Mandy currently can't play cards, but she actually could play Mr. Rook if there was only 1 enemy on her. So I wanted to go on to Amanda rather. Amanda can either kill it immediately, or Mandy can go first and do Rook shenanigans. I don't care which, but it's better to be like this, even though it seems unintuitive. 7 of 8 Doom, or 8 of 8 Doom because of the ticker. We advance. We do not remove the Doom on the location, though. The location with the most Doom, huh? Welcome to the fucking gang. How are you doing? I was really hoping that was advancing the act that summoned him. This is a slight problem. I would say that we have remained in a pickle. We're getting a bit ahead of ourselves, though. Just then, a sound thrums in the walls of the temple, a dull humming similar to that of a generator. Grooves in the walls and the ceilings flicker and start to glow. It's as though the temple is alive and it senses your presence. The strange statues and carvings you've seen, coupled with the dim glow and the power coursing through the walls, makes it clear that this temple isn't Aztec in origin. In fact, it appears to be from an even older, more ancient civilization altogether. You feel as though you're an intruder in a world you cannot begin to understand. And confirming your worst fears, a loud hiss and rattling echoes throughout the temple. Whatever you just woke up, it's not happy to see you. And our new act, or our new agenda rather, is the Temple Warden. The serpent creature emerges from the shadows with terrifying speed. It is bedecked in gilded feathers and wields a golden spear, the blade tipped unravaged by time. The rattle at the end of the creature's tail produces a tremendous noise as the creature hunts throughout the ruins. And this is 14 Doom. We already have one of it. This will be going on to Mandy as well. That's not even close to a decision point. And then it is a 224 enemy with Alert, Hunter, Retaliate. I'm glad we got some of those curses out of the bag then. If it gets to 10 or more damage, it'll flip those fight and evade stats, making it easier to evade, which is something I want to do eventually and was originally a sub-goal of mine in this scenario. But we're way past sub-goals. If we get all the victory, I'll be happy with this. Honestly, I'll be thrilled with it at this point. And force, after successful attack or evasion attempt against this enemy ends, place 1 resource on it. If there are 4 resources on it, it vanishes with a sinister hiss, set it aside, out of play, keep all damage tokens, and Vengeance 5, so maybe don't actually kill him. Anyway, that was the start of the Mythos phase. Things can still get worse. Evil cards. Peril Surge. That is awful. What a mean card. We are a maximum of 3 explorers away from the finish line, and getting out's going to be the easy part compared to this shit. I'm going to place a Doom and discard it and then surge into something else. Let's not forget to place the Doom first. Luckily, that won't affect the skull because we already had a 1 Doom. Let's make sure we click the ticker. I've only got 2 cards left, but didn't I specifically really care about them? No, I didn't. I already got them. They were Promise of Power and Unrelenting. Those were the things I was really upset about. I don't have a Magnifying Glass or a Deep Knowledge. There's no other cards for it to hit, so that's actually really soft. I was briefly very upset, but I've already pulled the Promise of Power in my practice makes perfect, so I don't care anymore. We're here for Mandy. Crypt Chill. Look, Magnifying Glass, I'm sorry, but this is not a priority right now. Get out of here. That's actually soft. Losing a Magnifying Glass is a very unimportant thing. Starting the investigation phase, I was going to say we've made it, we're out of the woods, but that is not what this is. Harbinger of Elusia, Serpent from Yacht. This is like the 4th enemy in a row where Double Seeker is swamped, or 4th turn in a row, rather. Anyway, let's draw our card, take our horror, and figure out what's going beneath us. The ordering that's really nice, that because I cycled my deck, I don't put Whispers in the deep end. Prophesize not feeling the best. This will show up right after I put the card in my hand, so I can't pick it. I'm just locked into Promise of Power, right? I can't imagine the answer is not Promise of Power. Like, I would like to live in that world, but I can't imagine that's the real world, so we're putting Promise of Power down. How many curses are in the bag? Still 5. Okay, Mandy can't play Mr. Rook, so any plans I had involving letting Mandy play Mr. Rook were stupid, because she is super broke. I think I'm going to play Bloodright for 3 cards as Mandy's first action. It has a 50% chance of hitting a segment of Onyx. I don't know what the other hits are, but they cannot possibly not be helpful. Oh, alright, cool. I was really worried that we were going to have to like play Deep Knowledge and take hits and go down to really scary health numbers, but we don't. What I was planning on doing, if I missed, by the way, was evade with Essence of the Dream Committed, which isn't actually very good because she's a card short of that being a good play. And then just leaving the location and trying to progress the game on my own. Anyway, now that we've hit this, I need to discard 2 cards to gain 2 resources. Is it just like deduction perception? Like, it feels terrible to be saying that's the correct play. I'm not playing Mr. Rook. We're past that point. And there's another Mr. Rook like right there by the time I can afford to play him. I'm tossing Perception Mr. Rook, which feels real weird and real wrong, but is almost certainly right. And gaining 3 resources. I then use all of those resources to play the segment of the Onyx as a fast action and get the Pendant of the Queen online. Please, God, bail us out of this broken cards. Mr. Rook didn't show up early, so I need you to show up now. We evade this man. He is not an elite. My house rule does not stop me as a fast action. What a good card. I think I just have to explore now and try to get out of here. If I hit this location into the encounter card that shuffles in, that's really bad. But that's a 1 in 4. That's really unlikely. We should be getting out of this hellhole this turn. Three options. That's the whiff. That is the location we wanted, thank Christ. I'm just used to drawing encounter cards. Mandy moves down to the Tomb of the Ancients. 4 Shroud, 2 clues, check your supplies. If you have a rope, I believe that is the 3 costs we skipped out on. It is. So we won't be able to use this. It would have been, as it turns out, rather helpful. I'm going to be cracking this case for myself right now, I think. I'm only investigating at 6, actually. I think playing Deep Knowledge now feels like I'm kind of screwing over Amanda pretty hard. I'm just going to investigate normally. It feels bad, but it might actually be a good decision just to try to get curses out of the bag. -1, I get the clue. I wish I committed the crack the case, or the deduction rather, but that was very unlikely to work. Over here for Mandy, or for Amanda rather. Let's hope we can get out of the location this time. Even if I can't, I think I still just take this guy with us and just ignore this one. Curse goes in the bag, we're evading, currently 6-4. That's nowhere near good enough. I can blood write down this Brood of Yig looking for different cards. My Essence of the Dream is already not on anyway, and I have the money to do it. I can toss Dream Enhancing and 2 of the 3 cards I draw, probably. Yeah, I'm going to blood write down this Brood of Yig. It's just testless evade, essentially, in this circumstance, and we're not shuffling the deck again. So we're doing that. Draw 1, 2, 3. Why is Crypt Chill in my deck? Well, that's fine. I don't know how I did that, but I'm assuming it hasn't been like that for long enough to matter. Let's draw a replacement. Dream Enhancing just isn't getting online this game. It's not the case. Magnifying Glass is definitely going. Is there anything I could possibly toss to hold on to this I've Got a Plan? There's really not. I toss the I've Got a Plan. I'm tossing all 3. I'm killing the Brood of Yig. I've been debating it for so long that I'm just going in circles. We need to evade this man. We need to evade him stats. It probably doesn't go well. We just have to move and take fucking 4/4. Which is, you know, not what I wanted to say. But it's where we're at. I commit Unrelenting for bad tokens, Essence of the Dream, I think. I'm really just trying to dodge auto-fail. Or like double curse into -3. This is pretty fucking likely. Fantastic. Release the tokens. Set these aside. Evade the big man. Please God leave. I don't know we're getting the Serpent Romulan victory. He might be safe this game. Enemy phase. They are exhausted. Upkeep phase. They ready and they're pissed. Practice makes perfect will be very nice very soon. Mr. Rook, I knew you'd be coming back soon. 3 of 12 Doom, 3 of 14 actually, and evil cards. Okay, this one's a joke though, right? Yeah, I just have to take 1/1 and be upset about it, but it's fine. Because after he hits me, he shuffles a non-story asset I control into my deck, and then he gets discarded. Which, like, that's actually spooky as hell. I don't want to discard these things. Like, at all. He's not a hunter, though. I mean, he is a fucking problem. I can't imagine a world where we're not killing that. Let's see what Mandy's is first, though. Oh! Okay, so we get to make this decision twice, then. Before the second one, we had a good solution with Pendant of the Queen. Well, let's go into the investigation phase, do the Amanda thing, and see if it helps us think at all. We'll get this after you put our card down. And we're... Do you care about Total Doom in play or just the agenda? Total Doom in play. Good. So that is 2 question marks right now. Pretty sure this goes down, because all of these other things are cards we would actually like to play. Also, we have the ability to advance the act. I'm going to start Mandy's turn. We're going to pay 6 clues, leaving Amanda with 1. And we're going to advance the act. I don't think this makes things worse for us, but if it does, that'll suck. The ruins are far more vast than Alejandro had anticipated. Carvings in the walls and hieroglyphs etched into stone altars suggest the existence of a central chamber underground. Perhaps a hidden passageway will show you the way to this chamber, the very heart of the temple ruins. Shuffle the set aside Chamber of Time location into the exploration deck. And as you pass the strange glyphs in the walls, the runes groan and creak in protest, and the carvings glow ominously. Years of deterioration have faded the pattern of these glyphs, and the surrounding stones seep with a viscous pus. If only you had some way to restore these glyphs. And since we didn't bring chalk, we're going to gain 1 vengeance. For our next act, Act 2A, Magic and Science, Whatever is inside this central chamber must be very important. Much care was taken to obscure its location. We still have the explore text, and we have to spend 4 clues in the chamber to advance, which, speaking of, it should be in the explore deck now. Does this thing have Hunter right now? It has Retaliate. It doesn't actually have Hunter because it's the only Vengeance we have. So, like I said, Mandy's got to go first. She's going to play an Investigate action. This thing hits her immediately, shuffling Occult Lexicon into the deck, dealing 1/1 to me. And I believe that's all. It's just going to discard itself now. Yeah, and if you evade them, they're essentially dead as well. Oh, I forgot to put a card down under Amanda. I just got completely distracted by the fact I hadn't advanced the act. I was talking about Prophesy. Let's just do Prophesy and leave it at that. Anyway, we're taking this Investigate action. We just got hit as a cost of doing it. It's just at 3. Let's use Practice Makes Perfect over here on Amanda, using Mandy's ability to double it and look for some cards to help with this. We have Deduction, Unrelenting, Promise of Power, Prophesy. Finding clues isn't the issue. Getting to, like, the next location and evading the enemies is the issue. I'm going to do this. It's going to give me 2 6 question marks. Just like Don't Autofail me. Curse. Alright, maybe we have to do math. Alright, we probably fail. I suspect that -11 is enough to fail. I don't know what my number was, but I suspect it wasn't 15. So, the bad news is that I don't get this Promise of Power or this Prophesy. The good news is there are a lot less curses in the bag now. I would really like to have played Practice twice for 4, though. Investigating at +1 is just trash. It is not a plan. Which is unfortunate, because that means I don't really have a way to get this clue. Oh, I can use Pendant of the Queen to get this instead. That's very risky. Well, oh well. I'm going to attempt to explore and get out of here. We're at the blue triangle. We're looking for T-Junction and Hourglass. Fuck me, it was another enemy. Are you kidding me? It's a shame I already used the video title, A Tidal Wave of Snakes, because this is definitely a worse pile-up than last scenario. Right about now, I'm really wishing I'd taken my good RNG. I don't think I'll be making that decision ever again. Gotta take the good RNG when it presents itself, because shit like this is gonna happen. I think I have literally no choice in this current circumstance but to investigate again on Mandy, taking the damage and getting down to very perilous health numbers. Missing this Crack the Case is really unfortunate. This turn has just been like a cascade of issues. Anyway, we're looking for Hourglass. Thank Christ. Okay, that's at least something going a little bit right. Anyway, we've made it to the Chamber of Time. 4 Shroud, 4 Clues, forced after enters play, put the Relic of Time here, put 1 Doom on this location. Vengeance 2, Victory 2, the Relic of Time is just here. I'm guessing we take control of it by completing this act? I honestly don't recall. Anyway, that's it for me. Over here for Amanda, I hear we're just taking 1/1. I think I've got to lose the Occult Lexicon. Lab Assistant's too important, and the damage is also too important. Yeah, Mandy's going to move. Amanda, I'm going to do it every time. This thing hits her for 1/1. Like Mandy, she loses her Occult Lexicon. I think I have to Deep Knowledge myself to get my Essence of the Dreams back online. And then there's a very high chance that I'm just engaging this Brood of Yig to make Mandy safer. I'm playing Deep Knowledge though. I don't like it, but it's what I'm doing. Does Mandy need the cards more somehow? No. Hey, Occult Lexicon's back. I totally have the money to do that. And last action, I think I have to engage this guy. I'm not thrilled about it, but it's fine. End of the round, he's going to hit me. Lab Assistant dies. There's no reason to do it yet. Fine, I'll take the damage on myself. Also, this man will hunt because you are Hunter, and we only have 1 Vengeance, so the Serpent from Yoth will not be hunting. I was worried there wouldn't be enough enemies in Forgotten Age to really challenge Occult Lexicon. It turns out the economy demands of just killing this many enemies with only Occult Lexicon, or the other very expensive Seeker options, is rough. I need to get those Ancient Stones very soon. So, that's it for the enemy phase. Upkeep phase. Blood Rights that we can't afford, and Raptured is actually fantastic. I could have used the Pendant of the Queen. I actually just realized I skipped my use for it that round. That's fine. There are good uses later on. For a second, I thought we were out of the woods. 4 of 14 Doom, evil cards. Obscuring fucking fog. Okay. I'm not muted, I'm just at a loss for words. It would have been really nice if the last one had been shuffled into this deck, or if he could have just been in the bottom 5 somewhere. So I'm feeling like a lot of regret about various different things right now. There's 2 deductions in my 14-card deck here. There's a chance that Practice Makes Perfect, Mandy's ability, deduction gets all 4 clues in one action. In which case, Mandy can make it out alive, and Amanda can die right here where there's no victory. Provided we don't get wrecked by the various bad tokens in the bag. There is no way around these Visual Serpents just like being a problem and say resign or die right now. That's just happening. Like, we got through a lot of shit and drilling a pile of enemies, but our team is uniquely poorly equipped to deal with this card. Anyway, start of the round, we draw a card, do the Amanda thing rather. This is looking like it's probably the last turn of the game. We can probably put the Essence of the Dream under us pretty safely right now. It really does just look like Amanda has to fucking die. I've been trying real hard to find a way for her to get out of this, and it's not looking good. The prognosis is bad. Like, she can kill this snake, she can't just have the money, she has nothing. We're gonna start with what has to happen. We're going to investigate. We're gonna take 1/1 of damage, killing our lab assistant. We commit this, obviously, having 6. We commit Perception. We might not commit Perception. We use Practice Makes Perfect with our last money. We use Mandy's ability. We search our top 9. Come on, double deduction. We got 1 of them. Missing double deduction was actually very unfortunate. It's an important part of my plan. I needed to be able to, get all the clues right now. We're currently at 6, 7, 8, 9. We need to get it higher than that, and there's no reason not to commit this deduction, I suppose. 10 to 6. It's not even good enough. There's no way I can make it better, though. That's the best I've got. God, what a brutal Obscuring Fog. It's the only time I've ever felt messed up by that card. Well, let's do it. Let's fail our last check of the game. Oh! Nice. Okay. I really should have, not tilted and committed Occult Lexicon. Not committing Occult Lexicon was incredibly wrong. Anyway, these come to my hand. This goes to my play area. The star doesn't really do anything, but it does count. We get 1 and then 2 deductions. That 3rd deduction would have been very helpful. But yeah, we need to not autofill this. The Obscuring Fog is gone. We are going to be testing at base 4. Why'd I put this over here? This is still in play. Not how the game works. Turn isn't over yet. We're looking at base 6 to 4. I commit Perception. The deduction doesn't matter, but none of this matters. I just need to make sure I don't fail. Just throw whatever skills you have at it. That actually lowers my odds because of the Essence of the Dream. So our final number is 6, 8, 10 to 4. Okay, cool. That's a very dramatic way for you to round it off, but okay. We have 5 clues here. I believe we only need 4. The relic hums with power and throbs in your hand. Energy from the device seeps into the corridors of the ruins, and the structure of the temple shifts. Choose an investigator in the Chamber of Time to take control of the Relic of Ages. It's going to be Mandy. Move the placement of each location for a straight line with the Chamber of Time on the left and the entryway on the right. Each other location is placed from left to right in between these 2 locations in order of how much doom is on them from lowest to highest. So highest doom is going all the way to the right. In the event of a tie, you may decide the order. Till the end of the scenario, ignore all location connections, and it's a straight line. Let me briefly evaluate if there's somehow a way out of this. Okay, so the way this works is it's a straight line, Chamber of Time on one side. This is going to be on the opposite side. This is going to be here. All these connection markers don't exist anymore. And since all of these have the same amount of doom, we can put them in the middle in any order we want. We want the Harbinger as far away as possible. We don't want this next to us or this. We want the one you need to use the map in. Cool. Hell yeah. Okay. These both go away. I guess we trigger the Perception. Not the important part of what's happening. We still have a little bit of work left to do on Amanda, unfortunately. She has to stick around and waste her time to not die because of this nonsense. So, instead of doing that, I'm just evading the man at 6 to 2 and being very salty about it. 0, he's evaded. Next turn, we're going to find a way to not die to him and get over a location and do this. Anyway, for Mandy's turn, Act 3A is relevant. Our goal is escape the ruins. The ruins are shuddering with a tremendous power. You fear that the structure may collapse if this keeps up. You have to escape with the relic. But there are 3 or more vengeance points in the victory display. Each serpent gets +1 evade. Objective, if each undefeated investigator has resigned, advance. So Mandy needs to resign, and wouldn't you know it, I've just teleported across the map, and poof, I've resigned. There are also now, coincidentally, a bunch of snakes at the exit. I'm sorry, Amanda, you really never had a chance. But upkeep phase, he's going to re-engage. Enemy phase, by the way, this man's going to hunt. These men are going to hunt. Doom advances to 5 of 14. The Doom clock is not the issue in this scenario. Take 1 horror. Okay, I move over. I use the map. It turns into victory. So Amanda walks to this non-victory location as her last action, engaging this man. Well, that's just not the spirit of things, is it? You can do a little bit better than that, I guess. I shortcut in, and I punch the fucker with Essence to Dream and this at 7-2. Take 1 damage, you big ugly snake. And then he eats me. Sorry, Amanda, it had to happen. This is the first time I've had Investigator defeat in a while. These snakes are not messing around. Seekers Only is, in fact, struggling a little bit with Forgotten Age. Anyway, in happier news, Mandy did resign. So, as soon as you cross the threshold of the entryway, something inside the temple begins to change. If an investigator resigned with the Relic of Ages under his or her control, the floor of the temple stops shaking, and the dull humming in the walls goes quiet. Without the relic in its chamber, the ruins appear to be sleeping once more. You still have no idea what the object is or what its purpose may be, but you dare not tarry any longer to find out. R1. Alright, doing the end of scenario wrap-up, it's real important what order things get read in. Because Investigator defeat happens first, we check the campaign log. There are currently not 7. At the end of the scenario, there were only 3 Yig's Fury, which is real important because it means there are not 4 or more tally marks, so Amanda isn't killed. However, you do record 3 additional tally marks, which is, we're apparently doing the high Yig's Fury run. The depths of Yoth are going to be a little bit rough. So the good news is that Amanda's not dead. So we're going up to 3 more tally marks though. Then we check the victory display. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 vengeance going straight up to 10. We also have 1, 2, 3, 4 victory because we flipped this one to victory without ability. We record that we recovered the Relic of Ages. We record that the Harbinger is still alive, but he took 1 damage from a petty punch from Amanda. And of course, Amanda's going to take 1 mental trauma from being killed by mental damage. And it turns out that my player on Snakepit, I have no idea how much it made it harder on me than it should have comparatively, but Amanda could have used the binoculars. All I remembered was victory at the top of the right column, Snakepit bottom left. Snakepit's still terrible. If you go there without binoculars, you basically just die or get all the vengeance in the world, one of the two. And even if you don't go there because you had the binoculars, you still waste an action and shuffle an encounter card into the Explorer deck. It's terrible. Before we get in, though, we have Interlude 2. We can either give this to Alejandro or keep it ourselves. We're going to keep it ourselves. Skip to Expedition's End, number 3. We record that we gave custody of the relic to Harlan Ernstone. Alejandro is continuing his research on his own. And not that we ever had him, but if we did, he would stay out of our decks. Before I end the video, I want to mention that I will be forging our own path. In this intro here, we're going to skip to intro 3. In intro 3, we're going to let Ichitaka leave. Intro 5. In intro 5, remember that she left without us. And since we gave it to Harlan, we get to decide, do we want to listen to them or be wary of them? And we're going to be wary of them. We remove all cultists and tokens from the bag, put in 1 squid. In your campaign log, record that you are forging your own path, and for the remainder of the campaign, we cannot include Alejandro or Ichitaka in our decks, but anytime we given the option, everyone earns 2 experience instead. Anyway, I've got to end the video. I'm going to ramble forever about how poorly this went, because I was surprised by how poorly it went. I've been rather incoherent. I hope you enjoyed this absolute shit show. This is not half the stomp it should have been. Although honestly, looking at this, I'm not sure how I was ever supposed to handle this, aside from very immediately getting pinned to the Queen online and Mandy. And again, I'm rambling, so I'm done now. Like, subscribe, all that YouTube nonsense. See you in the next one. Can't possibly go worse than this one.